Thank you. Marion, well, basically, everyone, we've been talking about love. And the sages and rabbis have looked at the connection between the love Hashem has for us, the love we have for each other, and the laws, the commandments, which became concisely 10 and then were expanded greatly in the halakha. Where do love and laws and commandments, how do they come together? And looking into this, I came upon a conversation that proposed the following. We look in the West today, people are very adverse to committing themselves to anything. They want to leave all the doors open. Well, if you look at our laws and the commandments, it's restraining us. It's stopping us from doing things. And that's very adverse. For example, people say, why do I have to wear a mask? Don't tell me what to do. And the discussion on freedom, the word freedom, people today understand it's freedom from. They want to do anything they choose. Commitments today are very rarely heard about. They leave doors open. They want to try new things, which is not bad, but it doesn't seem to be the same emphasis there was maybe 20, 30 years ago on a loyalty and a commitment. For example, a philosopher said maybe we should, instead of looking at freedom as freedom from, and this is at the very heart of our Torah and our parasha today, it might, instead it's freedom to. For example, and let me give you a silly example. You have the freedom to play the piano, but if you want to have the freedom to really play it, you have to chain yourself to the piano and you have to sit and practice every day. That is what freedom, where freedom and love comes in. You've got to really do it. Freedom in this sense is not the absence of restraint, but that you impose that restraint. I wish I had a better word for restraint. You impose that discipline, which is not easy on yourself. And you're going to see that in Devarim, we have to understand that love for God, love for us, love for each other, God's love for us, our love for a parent, our love for a child, our love for humanity has to have a discipline, has to have a discipline. We've got to chain ourselves as to that piano. We have to be here every Shabbat or that love disappears. So if we understand that freedom really means commitment, and what does the word commitment means? It means that you're there through the tough times, through the good times. You don't give up and walk out the door because you get fed up with something and someone goes wrong. Now we know that that is God's love for us. He's there even when we are sinning and we're going wrong. He's waiting for us to return. So commitment really is falling in love with something. Could be a man, could be a woman, it could be your partner, your parent, your child. Doesn't matter what it is. And it's building a structure of behavior around it that is there for the moment when that love falters. And of course, we've all faltered when we've committed to someone. Maybe we think, my God, do I have to go on with this? Am I achieving anything really? I've thought that at times about my commitment to Temple Israel Heritage Center. Am I good enough? Will it go on? We've all thought that. be it in a marriage, be it in our love for God. We faltered, of course. And yet, because of the structures we've built around us, because of the laws and the structures God has given us, for example, to keep Shabbat. Look how just keeping Shabbat and keeping together every Shabbat, Friday and or Saturday morning, or both, that keeps us, reminding us and reinforcing our love for Hashem, reinforcing our love for justice and his laws. Would that love, would that commitment, would that covenant last between God and ourselves if we didn't have the structures of attending Shabbat, of high holy days, of all the things we do, we commanded to do? And the more we obey those laws, the more we understand love and the more we receive love from each other, or our parents, or a child, or Baruch Hashem, one of God's creatures. So this book of Deuteronomy is much more simply than Moses' speeches in the last months of his life. It is to do with laying the foundations of ensuring our Judaism, our religion, our ethics, our values, our laws go down for future generations. It is much more. It's ensuring that the Torah, the laws, the history of our people since Egypt, the love God has for us and we for him, will last during the generations. But remember, there are times when it's going to falter. And if we didn't have these structures and these laws and these Shabbat services and everything built around it, would that love last? It is fundamental to Judaism that we integrate laws, the way we act, with our beliefs, with how we feel. It is a coherent vision that Judaism has, that we have to create a society of a law-governed liberty. Because with that liberty we have, we're going to falter at times, and we are going to choose the wrong path. And yet, by our structures of laws, which the West, to a large extent, has inherited as a way of governance, we can get back to God, to a society of justice, compassion, and the love of God is respect for human dignity and the sanctity above all of human life. So all of this is built around an act of mutual commitment to God by a people who love him, and a commitment by the God to the people, and a God who loves us. That commitment is based on love, not on that we have to attend. We're here because we want to understand how to live in peace, how to handle the tragic losses that we've all suffered, especially over these last year and nearly 2 years now. The commitment itself, your being here, is an act of love. At the heart of the famous words from the Shema in this week's parasha, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. And this story of love between God and the Jewish people is a tempestuous one. It's not smooth and easy. We've had great arguments. We've had unbelievable times, and yet the love between God and what they call an obstinate people is the real story of the love. The love between parents and children. I know I had so many arguments with my parents and my late mom. But you know, when she died, I published in the then Sunday, I think the Sunday Times, I must correct, a tribute of a daughter to a mother. And the greatest tribute I paid there was that every time I did something that hurt her very badly, she would say, Reva, my darling, I know you don't mean it, and I forgive you and I love you anyway. That's extraordinary. And today we're going to hear another tribute of a daughter to a mother. That is God's love for us. When we do that, we show our love for God by loving those around us, by loving humanity, by loving all life. So I'm going to conclude by saying that Deuteronomy really is a book of love. The word ahava, and you heard that beautiful words we sang about love. It appears 15 times in Genesis. It appears twice in Exodus, twice in Leviticus. In Deuteronomy, the word love appears 23 times. And you heard me say it. God chose us because he loved us, and it goes on and on and on and on. And so, let me conclude before I invite a beautiful daughter who's joined us today to share her words of love for an exceptional mother. In that, Judy, you walk the path of Hashem, because by showing the unbelievable commitment, the unbelievable rituals that you continue to follow every single day, shows how you walk in the path of love and Judaism. Without the rituals that we show, like a husband, they say, bringing his wife every morning coffee and tea and breakfast in bed, even if she doesn't want it, that keeps the love alive, that keeps the fidelity, that keeps that little action, keeps the love going when it falters, when there's an argument or something bad happens. So to conclude,